6 of the most popular butter products on store shelves are not actually butter. I tested and researched over a dozen brands, read the lawsuits, pulled the nutrition panels, and cross-referenced the ingredient lists against what butter is legally required to be. 2 of the brands I am about to name have faced federal complaints. One of them is probably in your fridge right now. No sponsors, no affiliate links. Nobody paid me to say any of this. By the end of this video, you will know exactly which brands to avoid, how to spot a fake in under 30 seconds, and which 3 products are the real thing. Land O'Lakes is the most recognized butter brand in the United States, generating over $4 billion in annual sales. The problem is that their most visible product in many stores is not their butter. It is their spreadable butter with canola oil, and it is shelved directly next to the real thing in almost identical packaging at a similar price. The ingredient list on that product begins with sweet cream and canola oil. Real butter contains one ingredient, cream. In 2021, a class action complaint filed in federal court alleged that Land O'Lakes packaging misled consumers into believing the spreadable product was equivalent to pure butter. The case centered on the word butter appearing prominently, while the oil content was listed in much smaller text on the side panel. That distinction matters enormously, and most people never catch it. Here is why this keeps happening across the entire industry. Real butter is made from churned cream. To meet the FDA legal standard, a product labeled butter must contain at least 80% milk fat. That is it. No oils, no fillers, no emulsifiers. The cost to produce a pound of butter that hits that standard using quality cream runs between $3 and $5 at the farm level before any processing or distribution. When you see a butter product priced well below that, something has been substituted. The most common substitution is vegetable oil, usually canola, palm, or a blend, which costs a fraction of milk fat to produce. Blending oils into cream lowers the milk fat percentage below 80%, which legally disqualifies the product from being called butter. So, manufacturers call it a spread, a blend, or a buttery product, but they keep the word butter in the brand name, in the font, and on the front of the package. What you are losing when you buy one of these products is not just a semantic detail. You are getting a fundamentally different fat profile with different metabolic behavior and, in some cases, partially hydrogenated components that have been directly linked to cardiovascular risk. I can't believe it's not butter sounds like a joke until you realize it is one of the top 5 selling butter alternatives in the country. The original formulation contained partially hydrogenated soybean oil, a source of artificial trans fat, for decades before Unilever reformulated it. The FDA banned artificial trans fats in 2018. Unilever complied, but the product is still a blend of vegetable oils and water. It contains 0% milk fat. It is not butter in any legal or nutritional sense, and it has never claimed to be. The issue is that it is still stocked in the butter aisle of most major grocery chains. Country Crock was originally marketed as a margarine, which at least was honest. Upfield, the company that now owns it, has since repositioned the brand aggressively, launching a plant-based butter line that uses the word butter prominently while containing no dairy at all. Their plant butter uses a blend of palm and canola oils with added flavoring to mimic the taste of dairy butter. The front label says butter. The back label tells a different story. Smart Balance has been subject to 2 separate false advertising complaints related to its omega-3 and heart health claims. The product is an oil and water blend with added flaxseed oil to justify the omega-3 language on the packaging. A class action in 2013 alleged The health claims were not supported by the amount of omega-3 actually present per serving. The case was settled. The product is still marketed the same way. Parquet is owned by Conagra Brands and has been a margarine since its founding. What makes Parquet worth flagging here specifically is that several of their squeeze bottle products are still stocked in the refrigerated butter section of major retailers, not in a separate margarine section, which makes the categorization actively confusing for shoppers. Brumell & Brown, also owned by Unilever, blends non-fat yogurt with vegetable oil. The yogurt content is used to market the product as a lighter alternative with live cultures, but the milk fat content is near zero, and the primary fat source is still vegetable oil. Calling it butter adjacent in any meaningful sense requires ignoring every regulatory and nutritional standard that defines what butter is. A 2023 study published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that the type of fat source matters significantly in how dietary fat is metabolized, and that replacing dairy fat with refined vegetable oils does not produce the health benefits that lower fat marketing implies. Across the 6 products just described, consumers in the United States collectively spend an estimated $3 billion annually believing they are buying butter or a nutritionally equivalent substitute. They are not, and the reason this continues is not ignorance on the part of consumers. It is the strategic placement of the word butter on packaging that is legally compliant because of brand name carve-outs that predate modern labeling standards. Here is how to verify what you are actually buying in under a minute. Check 1. Look at the milk fat percentage. Any product that is real butter will list 80% milk fat or higher, usually 82 to 84% for European-style varieties. If that number is absent or below 80, you are not holding butter. Check 2. Count the ingredients. Unsalted butter has 1 ingredient. Salted butter has 2. If you are reading anything else, cream cheese culture, canola oil, natural flavors, palm kernel oil, the product is a blend regardless of what the front label suggests. Note that this check will not tell you about the quality of the cream or whether cows were grass-fed, but it will tell you immediately whether a product clears the basic legal threshold. Check 3. Verify the legal name in small print. The FDA requires that the front of package legal product name accurately reflect what the product is. Look for the word butter as a standalone legal name, not as part of a compound like spread or buttery product or blend. That small type designation is the one part of the label that manufacturers cannot legally mislead. Kerrygold is made from the milk of Irish grass-fed cows and contains 82% milk fat. It is imported, widely distributed across North America and Europe, and typically priced between $4 and $6 for an 8-ounce block. Kerrygold publishes its sourcing standards publicly and has maintained consistent composition for decades. It is the starting point for most people because it is available in almost every major grocery chain and the quality is consistent at that price point. Vital Farms is a US-based brand using pasture-raised dairy. Their butter consistently tests at 83% milk fat, and they publish quarterly pasture access reports on their website. It runs slightly higher in price than Kerrygold, usually $5 to $7 for 8 ounces, and is well suited for people who prioritize domestic sourcing or want the pasture-raised certification independently verified. Organic Valley pasture butter is the most specialized of the 3, produced only seasonally when cows have active pasture access, and carries the highest butterfat content of any widely available U.S. option, typically 84%. It is harder to find and prices vary by region, but for anyone who bakes seriously or wants the richest fat profile available without importing, it is the clearest choice. The butter substitution industry is worth roughly $12 billion globally. It exists because most people cannot tell the difference on the label quickly enough at the point of purchase. You now can. One ingredient, 80% milk fat, the word butter as a standalone legal name. That is the entire test. Share this with one person who cooks. And if you want to know which olive oils are doing the same thing, that video is next.